On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We've definitely had another mishap, and we've lost 6 soldiers, 6 pilots, 6 people that were crewed. And this initially it was 4 found once they finally got to the craft, and then there was 2 that were missing, and they have since found those. So very sad. Again, losing people. The numbers could be significantly higher. In the big picture, we're fortunate in that regard, but this is sad. We are going to cover the 20-minute segment that Hegseth and Raising Cane did this morning. It was about 20 minutes. I'm going to do it at 1.25 speed, and so 17 minutes-ish or so. It should be shaved down a little bit. Rather than getting clips, which is what would have happened, I might as well just play the whole thing. It's going to be worth it. I've got a lot of video, so I'm going to keep my, we're going to try to keep my chatter to a minimum. So U.S. CENTCOM, I've kind of got the Iran thing broken into 3 sections, if you will. So forgive me on that, but I didn't really want to make you wait all the way down to here where I cover it, really. So we've got it kind of broken up. So starting with the lost soldiers, what we know that has happened is 2 U.S. KC-135s. They're refueling craft. Essentially, it looks like the body style of the old 707, but I think it's a slightly modified version, if you will. Heavily modified for that matter. But it's just set up as a retanker. She's got a lot of gas tanks inside of it, and then it's got a boom that's got kind of like a fin on it, and they can kind of glide and control and to help do refueling. So it is something we use a lot of. They were flying over northern Iraq, very safe place. Unfortunately, they seem to have clipped each other. One plane did not survive the clipping. The other plane did manage to make its way home, and that's where the thumbnail has come from. So 2 planes collided in flight. We don't know a whole lot more than that, but yes, this is pretty horrible. And yeah, this plane lost a big chunk of its tail, and it's lucky that's all it was. So there must have been some sort of, crossing over like that, and the plane that hit the tail, if it hit it with an engine, or I don't know. My guess is it hit it with something, the wing maybe, and that caused the wing to break maybe, and then, but nobody survived the other crash. All 6 people were lost, and that's, again, just sad. So they found them, the extra 2 crew members. We don't have names yet. Those will come once next of kin are informed. Just an interesting picture in a lot of ways. Pictures are 1,000 words, everyone says, so I'm going to speak every single one of them. Just kidding. But Donald Trump on the right. This is Donald Trump graduating from his military academy, and this is his mother and father, his parents, as he calls them, Fred and Mary. Not mom and dad, Fred and Mary. And it's just interesting. There's no touch from them. They look happy-ish, This guy's got the whole Howard Hughes look going on with him. I'm sure he was tied in with all those people, knowing who Trump's uncle was. And yeah, it's very interesting. Trump was made for this moment. And yeah, that's good. Sometimes the filter works. Indian H-1B scammers found guilty in a multi-million-dollar fraud that was happening in Pennsylvania. They got busted. This is huge, too. Just a dentist, and the other guy was handling all the nonprofits and all the different corporations they were creating. They drained more than $32 million, just these 2 guys, and there was one other worker. I think there's 3 of them total. $32 million between them. This kind of stuff's happening all over. Again, I've got a bunch of examples. When we get up to worthless, I've got a bunch there, too. Got a bunch of examples of this fraud, waste, and abuse. We've got one of the red states is heavily being busted right now. And all of this needs to come crashing down. Every bit of it. I was talking to that guy at the gym I've mentioned to you guys all about. And again, just the discussion that, like he said a number of times, and there's no slam on him, it's just this way a lot of people talk. He's like, them damn Democrats. And it's like, bro, how many of these Republicans don't want to vote for the Save America Act either? Like, just because they got a letter next to their name doesn't mean shit. Everybody's got to prove their allegiance. Fetterman's got a D next to his name. He's probably better than most of the Republicans we've got on our side of the fence. Easily. Right? So the letter doesn't mean nothing. And as I keep saying, there's a lot of us that are independent because we don't want to be affiliated necessarily with either side. There's a bunch of bad trash on both sides of the fence. And the sooner we come to terms with that, as a nation especially, the sooner we can really finally deal with it. I pray. OTF Special. I love this. I love this product. OTFspecial.com. A lot of us have insulin resistance. So there's a number of us that are having a little overweight, can't even quite seem to get rid of it. We kind of chalked a lot of it up just to the fact that we're getting older. There's a number of us that are on a number of different medications, maybe statins. Maybe we're on some diabetic medications. Maybe we're on certain blood thinning medications and all sorts of things. This is something I want you to very much consider. You don't do anything different. You're not going to change anything. I'm not asking you to take any medicine of any kind. What this is it's actually science at work. There's this cactus called yerba mate, I believe it is. And I finally got to try the pomegranate one, by the way. Pomegranate's okay. It's okay. It's definitely not better, in my opinion, than the lemon. Lemon tastes like iced tea lemonade. It tastes delicious. It's just actually good. It's delicious. I enjoy it. Pomegranate was kind of, I don't know. It's up to you. You might like that taste. It tastes like tea with pomegranate in it, because that yerba mate is basically a tea. Now, it's got some other science in there, and what the two unimates do, you do 2 of these a day. You do 2 packets of this. You literally just mix it in water, pack it in water. It's delicious. I highly recommend lemon. You put a packet in water twice a day, and it's got a little bit of caffeine, but it's got some science in there that's helping you, one, with cravings, but it's helping you kind of maintain. Even a lot of us don't stay in ketosis long enough, which is where your body's literally burning fat. That's one of the problems. 2, the insulin resistance, which the third one you take right before you eat your meal. It's called Balance. It's actually a fiber matrix. And what it does is it basically puts some fiber in your stomach, and then it's got some of that science in it as well. And then when you eat, that kind of goes down into that mixture. And because of all that, it actually affects the way you digest some of this. Some of the carbs don't get digested like they typically would. And some of the complex carbs are the reasons why we're having a lot of this insulin resistance on top of that. But by removing some of the carbs, it removes some of the sugar. It starts to remove some of the problems. And you actually start to notice your A1C numbers will come down, for example. Your weight will come down. I've got so many people that are talking about how their weight's down. And we're not talking crazy rocket fast. What we're talking about is in a month's time, I'm seeing 15 to 30 pounds, depending. Now, again, the 30, I think, is people that are getting a little more extreme, starting to get into exercising, starting to eat a little differently. Again, you don't do anything different out of the gate. What you do is you just start drinking this stuff in water, and then you notice how your body responds. And that's where you will be amazed. 1, you will feel great. You'll have more energy than you've typically had. You will be dealing with your snack cravings very differently, and not by any sort of having to twist your arm or anything. You literally just won't want it. This is an amazing product. And considering what it's doing, it's giving people mobility back. It's giving people weight loss back. It's getting people back into the social system, dating, because people are literally losing weight and feeling better about themselves. A number of pictures right here of people that have made changes, and they look amazing. They look amazing. And all you're doing is drinking this. I drink it every day. I love the Unimate. It's incredible. The Balance is a trip. It's something I do once in a while when I want to fast and stuff like that. Totally helps. But keeping weight on is a problem for me more than the other way around. So the Unimate I love. It helps me deal with just not eating like I do. And then when I eat my dinner, I eat like a snake. I eat like an animal at one time. And then, it's not the best thing they say. I know it's not healthy. Don't do it, Dan. I've been doing it for years. Can't help it. It's the way my body's wired. Like it's just used to, like I sleep and it digests, I guess. It's not I know it's not the right way. I've taken all the courses too. It's just, you got to listen to your body more than people. It's important. A lot of people are talking about this. Let's do Claudia. We'll do John.
In my early 30s, I got diagnosed type 2 diabetic. I didn't think that I was. I worked 80 hours a week. I just thought I was always going to be tired. I wasn't feeling right. Went into the hospital, actually, because Carrie made me go to the hospital. They asked me, Mr. Cox, how long have you been diabetic? And I said, I'm not. And they said, well, with a blood sugar of 598 and an A1C, I don't think it would register, but they said it was a 16. I said, how did you walk in here? I spent a week at the hospital. They put me on 4 insulin shots. shots per day. I asked, is there anything I can do not to take these? And they said, nope, you're going to be on them forever, which was the biggest lie they could have told me. Long story short, with the insulin, I gained 80 pounds over 10 years. I had fatty liver. I was on 2 blood pressure meds, 1 cholesterol med, eventually developed diabetic retinopathy. I was faced with getting shots right before I started this protocol. But for about 3 years, I battled neuropathy terrible. I mean, it dictated my every thought. My monthly insulin cost was $1,300 a month until my deductible was made, not including the rest of the pills. In the course of that time, I took over 20,000 insulin shots in my life. Becky calls. I finally look at it. Trent and Greg Six and Becky actually show me. And I thought, I have nothing to lose. I was on a path of an early death in 4 months. And I didn't lose any weight for the first month. I didn't realize that because my insulin was so high, I wasn't going to lose weight. But then I lost 35 pounds. And in 4 months, I got off 4 insulin shots per day, 2 blood pressure meds, 1 cholesterol. I got off all my neuropathy meds. When I just right before we went to Bangkok, I went and had my eyes checked. The doctor was so weirded out about it because she was looking at 18 months ago and she was scanning my eyes. She's like, what are you doing? She goes, your prescription in both eyes improved. You were faced with going blind. And I've never seen you had been diabetic for a day, let alone 20 years. So now I'm down 57 pounds.
This is changing lives. And it's just literally drinking stuff in water. And you will see and feel different. Try it out. Go to otfspecial.com, otfspecial.com. Let your life be changed at this point, because it will, and it will. And there's so many other good products. Once you get this and get going on this, I do highly recommend, for those of you guys working out, their protein powder is amazing, and the 4th ingredient is salt. So they have a little bit of salt. It's got stevia, it's got cocoa, and it's got whey protein. That's it. That's it. 4 ingredients. The stuff's amazing. And I've gotten better at mixing it. The first time I mixed it, were giant ass clumps. I didn't mix it nearly enough. But the clumps tasted like brownie. Sounds like kind of rewarding when you get to them. But today I teeny clumps. I had a couple 3-4 smaller clumps. Still taste like brownie bites, but they're tiny. But it mixed in so good. It's delicious. I'm doing it with milk. You can mix it with water, I guess. That sounds gross to me, so anyway, whatever. But go to otfspecial.com. That's otfspecial.com. If you're actually interested in checking out the store, there is a link within the description box if you feel so inclined to go hunting for it. All right, here is Hegseth and Raising Cane doing their meeting with us. And again, this is at 1.25 speed. Hopefully that plays out okay for you guys. Check it out.
Good morning. I'll start, as we often do here at the Department of War, with the bottom line up front, for the world to hear and the press to actually admit that the United States is decimating the radical Iranian regime's military in a way the world has never seen before. Never before has a modern, capable military, which Iran used to have, been so quickly destroyed and made combat ineffective, devastated. We said it would not be a fair fight, and it has not been. As I stated during our first press conference on day 2, that was 10 short days ago, the combination of the world's 2 most powerful air forces is unprecedented and unbeatable. Between our air force and that of the Israelis, over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other combination of countries in the world can do that. So today, as we speak, we fly over the top of Iran and Tehran. Fighters and bombers all day, picking targets as they choose, as our intelligence gets better and better and more refined. Looking up, the IRGC and Iranian regime sees only 2 things on the side of aircraft: the stars and stripes and the Star of David. The evil regime's worst nightmare. Iran has no air defenses. Iran has no air force. Iran has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky. Their missile volume is down 90%. Their one-way attack drones yesterday, down 95%. And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. It's something we're dealing with. We have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before. But it's not just that Iran doesn't have a functioning air force, or that their entire navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, or their missile force is shrinking daily. Even more importantly, they also don't have the ability to build more. That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. For example, as of 2 days ago, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles, has been functionally defeated, destroyed. Buildings, complexes, and factory lines all across Iran destroyed. So we're shooting down and destroying what missiles they still have in stock, but more importantly, ensuring that they have no ability to make more. Their production lines, their military plants, their defense innovation centers defeated. Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran has plenty of cameras and plenty of voice recorders. Why a written statement? I think you know why. His father, dead. He's scared, he's injured, he's on the run, and he lacks legitimacy. It's a mess for them. Who's in charge? Iran may not even know. With every passing hour, we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response? We will keep pressing. We will keep pushing, keep advancing, no quarter, no mercy for our enemies. Yet some in this crew, in the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines. I used to be in that business, and I know that everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? Because they are. They know it, and so do you, if it can be admitted. Or more fake news from CNN. Reports that the Trump administration underestimated the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. Patently ridiculous, of course. For decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. This is always what they do, hold the strait hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better. Another example of a fake headline that I saw yesterday, war widening. Here's a real headline for you for an actual patriotic press. How about Iran shrinking, going underground? You see, Iran's leaders are hiding in bunkers and moving into civilian areas. The only thing that is widening is our advantage. Not to mention our Gulf partners stepping up even more now, going on the offense, and have always been with us on the defense with collective and integrated air defenses. Our will, it is unshakable. Our options, maximized, and our capabilities still building. We're going up, they're going down. As I said from the start, President Trump holds the cards. He'll determine the pace, the tempo, and the timing of this conflict. His hand firmly on the wheel, as well as on the throttle setting. America first, peace through strength, in action. From day one, as our nation expects and the president demands, our warriors have fought with lethality, precision, and rapid innovation. In fact, today will be, yet again, the highest volume of strikes that America has put over the skies of Iran and Tehran. The number of sorties and number of bomber pulses, the highest yet, ramping up and only up. And quantity has a quality of its own as we continue to ramp up. Every tool of AI, of cyber, of space, EW, counter UAS, you name it, we're employing it. Blinding, confusing, and deceiving our enemy. Because we know who the good guys are here. And the American people do too. And that makes my job simple. I serve God, the troops, the country, the Constitution, and the President of the United States, and answer only to those. All in service of victory on the battlefield and the military objectives that we've laid out from day one. Defeat the missiles, missile launchers, and defense industrial base, which I laid out today. Defeat the Navy and deny Iran the ability to have a nuclear weapon. Clear, decisive, achievable. And Admiral Cooper knows, the CENTCOM commander who we spent a couple of hours with last night, that in pursuit of those objectives, we have his back in every way. His commanders know that, and so do the troops in harm's way. Admiral Cooper gets what he needs, the assets, the authorities, the munitions, you name it. We will stop at nothing to win. War is hell. War is chaos. And as we saw yesterday with the tragic crash of our KC-135 tanker, bad things can happen. American heroes, all of them. And As I have with all of them, as we have, we will greet those heroes at Dover, and their sacrifice will only recommit us to the resolve of this mission. But war in this context and in pursuit of peace is necessary, which is why each day on bended knee we continue to appeal to heaven, to Almighty God's providence, to watch over and give special skill and confidence to our leaders and to our warriors. To those warriors who this nation prays for every single day, I hear from all of you out there who pray for them every day. Stay on bended knee and pray for them. I continue to say to them, Godspeed. May the Lord bless you and keep going. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. Before I start with an update, I also want to address the tragic loss of our KC-135 refueling aircraft yesterday. The incident occurred over friendly territory in western Iraq while the crew was on a combat mission, and again, was not the result, as CENTCOM has said, was not the result of hostile or friendly fire. We're still treating this as an active rescue and recovery operation. As CENTCOM announced this morning, 4 airmen have been recovered, and the Air Force and U.S. Central Command will provide updates as information becomes available. Please keep these brave airmen, their families, friends, and units in your thoughts in the coming hours and days. Our service members make an incredible sacrifice to go forward and do the things that the nation asks of them. It's a reminder of the true cost of the dedication and commitment of the Joint Force. We're also aware of a fire on board the USS Gerald R. Ford. We're thinking about the crew there who are injured in the fire. We believe and hope that everyone will be okay, and we're grateful for that. And for any further questions on that, we'd refer you to NAVCENT or to the Navy. This morning, we enter the 13th day of Operation Epic Fury, and we continue to make progress towards our military objectives. As the Secretary said, today will be our heaviest day of kinetic fires across the operating area. CENTCOM continues to attack ballistic missile and drone capabilities so that they are no longer a threat to U.S. forces, our bases, or our partners. They're continuing to destroy the Iranian Navy to ensure freedom of navigation, and this means going after Iran's mine-laying capability and destroying their ability to attack commercial vessels. And we're targeting their defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild the capabilities that can harm America's interests or our partners in the future. As Admiral Cooper said in his update on Wednesday, Iranian combat power continues to decline as a result of the continued strikes, as the Secretary talked about. We've attacked over 6,000 targets, and our strike packages continue to launch every hour, and we've maintained an unprecedented number of sorties up overhead of Iran. CENTCOM is now persistently over the enemy, and as a result, we've seen a reduction in missile and one-way attack fires, as the Secretary said. In less than 2 weeks, we've rendered the Iranian Navy combat ineffective and continue to attack naval vessels, including all of their Soleimani-class warships, which were armed with anti-ship missiles and anti-aircraft weapons. We've made progress, but Iran still has the capability to harm friendly forces and commercial shipping, and our work on this effort continues. But I want to make something clear. The only thing preventing commercial traffic and flow through the Straits right now, which there is some through the Straits, is Iran. They are the belligerents here holding the Straits closed, although there is some traffic moving through there. We've made it a priority to target Iran's mine-laying enterprise, their mine layers, the naval bases and depots, in addition to the missiles that could influence the Straits, and CENTCOM continues to attack those efforts. And we continue to make progress on the industrial base to include factories, weapons warehouses that are stored in, and we will continue to do so in the coming days, especially today. Now, as I often do, I want to share a little bit about our incredible Joint Force. Today, I'm going to talk about our incredible artillery force comprised of American soldiers and Marines who've been sinking ships, destroying depots, and launching Army tactical missile systems, or ATACMS, precision strike missiles, or PRISMs, and high-mobility rocket systems, or HIMARS. From outside Iran, our Army and Marine artillerymen are hitting sites that Iran relies on to project power beyond their borders and protect our deployed. In just the first 13 days of this operation, our artillery forces have made history. They fired the first precision strike missiles ever used in combat, reaching deep into enemy territory. They've used Army ATACMS to sink multiple ships, including a submarine, and they've done all of this with the precision and determination that comes from relentless training and trust in each other and in their weapon systems. Yesterday, I had the incredible honor and privilege of speaking with some of our young soldiers from the 3rd Battalion, 27th Field Artillery Regiment out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the unit and the crew that fired the first precision strike missiles. The soldiers I met came from all over this great country: New York, Texas, Delaware, California. One had been in the Army only 6 months and been in the unit for 2 months and was already deployed. He was the youngest at 20, but you would not know it from the way that they talked about their mission. The others were 22 and 28 years old. They spoke with a sense of calm pride, purpose, and clarity that tells you clearly they understand the weight of what they're doing and the people who depend on them. I asked them to walk me through a fire mission. I asked not just what they do, but what they feel, especially those first crew members on this particular mission. These soldiers basically live in these vehicles behind us. The cab, very tight, two folks sit next to each other with the crew commander behind them. It's jammed inside there with their personal weapons and kit, and they sit and wait for a fire mission. And when that fire mission comes, they close the armored doors and begin to program the systems. They then throw 3 simple toggle switches, and 10 to 15 feet behind them, a rocket motor ignites, and the round is headed downrange to do the nation's work. I asked these youngsters, these young, awesome Americans, what does that feel like? And one of them just looked at me and said, it's awesome. No drama, no hesitation, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, in the sun, the rain, in the snow, flawless execution. Their Marine counterparts are out there doing the same thing every night. Same work, same pressure, same expectations, same results. And we hand tremendous and enormous responsibility to these young Americans, and they carry it with a level of maturity, grit, professionalism, and tenacity that makes me incredibly proud to be a part of their joint force. Their parents and families would and should be incredibly proud, and their leaders and I trust them to do the deeds that they must do in difficult circumstances every single time. I also want to touch today I want to touch for a moment today on their leadership. These young Americans are led by extraordinary young leaders out at the tactical edge. Yesterday, the battery commander and her NCO were there with this crew on the same video screen. The two of them hardly said a word. They didn't have to. In their eyes, and in particular the commander's eyes, you could see the quiet trust and confidence she had in these soldiers and the rest of their battery. It came through loud and clear, and we appreciate their leadership. When I asked these soldiers yesterday, what is it that you need from the Secretary and I, they looked at each other, paused for a moment, and looked back at me and said, more rounds, sir. It was awesome. So thank you to those soldiers and Marines out on the firing line supporting our mission, and thank you to their families. Our joint force will continue today to deliver dynamic fires against the enemy from the land, sea, and air. We remain deeply grateful for their service, and for the third time today, I'll mention that today will be our busiest day. This mission remains complex, dangerous, and difficult, and every service member has a family waiting for them to return home. And I want to thank all of the families today who are supporting their deployed forces and those doing the work here in the States. On a personal note today, I also want to thank the joint staff and the team that I have the pleasure of working with, some of them right here in this room. They are working 24 hours a day to deliver the options that we must to the Secretary and to the President. Today, as I close, I ask that we remember our fallen and those participating in the recovery operations to bring home our lost KC-135 crew, that we keep those service members and their families in their thoughts and prayers. Those are very, very, very tough days when that knock comes on the door for people on both sides of the door. Again, thank you to our deployed, thank you to our fallen and to their families and to the joint force. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Chairman.
Yeah, so a lot to digest there, but certainly we're bringing the fighting to them. That's without a doubt. All right, worthless. There's a bunch of them. Don't get me started, right? Democrats block the DHS funding despite airport delays and the rising Iranian threat. Now, they tried to do this little piecemeal thing where they're like, well, we'll get DHS and we'll get the TSA, but we're not going to do ICE and we're not going to do this. And they're like, no, we ain't doing that nonsense. So, again, a bunch of crazy. This probably should go elsewhere, but whatever, we'll put it here too. But the Old Dominion shooter that happened, and we're going to talk more about this somewhere over here, I think, like here. No, wherever it was. We're going to talk more about this, but yeah, this guy was actually busted for trying to sell stuff to ISIS and Iran. He was convicted. He went to jail. Was supposed to serve 12-year sentence, got out in 8, and then go ahead and commit crime again. Same guy. He was part of the with the National Guard, and yeah, this dude's he's been radicalized forever, it seems. I don't know if he was American born. Where was he from? Mohammed Jallo. They don't say whether or not he came from another country. Like I said, we'll talk more about him coming up. Thune's going to let the Dems kill Trump. Their Save America Act next week. I don't know. I mean, again, this is National Pulse, so they put their stupid spin on it. But he's forcing a vote. Now, right, wrong, I'm not going to stick up for Thune because at this point, like, I agree with Trump and when he says you kind of need to be a leader, and that's the thing. That's where I think Johnson's done a pretty good job, Speaker Johnson. because you are herding cats. You are the one that's supposed to sort of try to get these people together in some form of coherence. And Thune's, again, Senate's, I think, worthless. So I don't know if Thune could do anything. But I think there's so many people that are so afraid of the fact that we're taking down their empires. And they literally, these people are making, we've caught Omar, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but we've caught her being directly involved with money from the government going to places that she's related to. So, of course, senators are doing that, and they're doing it to a larger extent because they're in for 6 years. They don't have to try to get reelected over and over. Senate passes the Trump-backed bill barring corporations from buying up family homes. What the Senate did is they changed the version of the bill that the House already passed, which means now the House has to try to pass this version, and Johnson's kind of like, there's a bunch of crap in there that we're not going to deal with. And that's the thing. The Senate keeps putting junk in the bill. I hope they line item it all out, because that's the stupid game, or at least make it known. This senator put this in there, which is going to their state, but then let's look at the company that's supposed to get the money. Let's just do a quick deep dive, because we all know money's funneling. 30% goes to administrative costs, where all this money is being wasted and abused. Ilhan Omar, ties to her sister's Minneapolis health clinic, Somali health company, and alleged brother husband's company too, as well. So this, her elder sister, Sarah Noor, I guess, stated in her LinkedIn profile that she was the CEO of People's Center Clinics and Services from July 2014 to April 2018. In January 2017, Omar began her 2-year term. People's Center in Minneapolis, neighbor of Cedar Riverside, nicknamed Little Mogadishu. Let's see, 2017 capital budget approved by the state legislature and included $2.2 million for this clinic, which operates as a nonprofit. And it has received $33 million in health and human services grants since 2002. This chick's made millions of dollars off government stuff. And as we've found out in a lot of cases, that many of these are just shell companies. There's nothing actually going on. They're just funneling money through and then making up or feeding one person or doing a soup day or 1 day a year, and they're 95% administrative costs. Again, I think we're going to find there's some places where the administrative costs are extraordinary, or they're just pretending to be the company they say they are. So yeah, Ilhan Omar making all sorts of money. Also coming to find out, more crazy fraud in California. Hundreds of millions of dollars in Medicare fraud just uncovered by Fox. 76,000 claims worth $600 million was billed to taxpayers under one 87-year-old doctor's name. Several hospice centers are listed under the one doctor's name in the Los Angeles area, but the doctor doesn't even live in the state. He lives in Las Vegas. The amount of fraud is absolutely mind-blowing, and the politicians who enable it need to start being charged. Gavin Newsom is a failure, amongst many. Here's another. This is Mississippi. I'm going to let this guy explain it to you. Check it out.
I just got home a little bit ago, so before my wife and kids walk in the door, I wanted to tell you about an important audit that we released earlier this week. It was an audit of the BP oil spill money. So between 2018 and 2033, Mississippi is going to receive over $500 million, more than $500 million of settlement money as a result of this oil spill. Now, common sense would tell you that what we should do as a state is take this money, get a team of experts, find the best game-changing investments that we could make on our Mississippi Gulf Coast and pour the money into those investments, right? Well, unfortunately, what we're finding is over 60% of the funds are being spent in a way that doesn't conform to what the state's own team of experts says could change the coast. In fact, a lot of money is being doled out to politicians' pet projects. Look, my big concern is that we're going to look back in a few years and we're going to realize we had a huge opportunity to change our Gulf Coast for the better, and we missed it because we had a bunch of politicians who wanted to fund a park bench here or a water fountain there. This is the kind of stuff that really needs to change in Mississippi government. It's the kind of stuff that we just need to use more common sense in. And also, even though I can't change it as state auditor, I'm going to keep telling you about it as long as I'm in this position.
We got to get politicians that actually will do what needs to be done rather than kowtow to the people that get them elected over and over. When they turned it into a career thing, they destroyed it. It was never supposed to be like that. Any of you guys know the old-fashioned way it was supposed to be is you would come together at a short period of time during the year. You would get a reprieve from whatever job you had, and you would go, serve your time, vote on the crap you had to vote for, and then go back home and go back to your job. I don't even think they got paid initially. You did it out of the goodness of your heart, essentially. So this has all been destroyed. By the way, the homeless man who violently attacked San Francisco mayor's security detail, because, they were boxed in, they let him out on the street already. Said that the security guard was actually at fault. The mayor's security guard was at fault. That's awesome. So, yeah, Democrat Mayor Daniel Laurie, the person that basically was putting them in harm's way, is back on the street, hopefully only to do it again. This just blew my mind. This is even wilder than I thought would ever happen. It's fitting, I guess. I don't know. It's funny as hell, though. See if you guys agree. But Jay in Washington posted this. Apparently, he's an avid outdoorsman. He just found out the hard way about Oregon's new waterway access permit law. House Bill 2982. Thanks, Governor Tina Cote, or whatever she is. I'm from Washington, didn't even know. Got to have a permit to kayak and paddleboard. Let me say that again. To kayak and paddleboard, you need to have a permit in Oregon to use their waterways in any way, shape, or form. Wow. That's pretty awesome. Right? Ken Paxton, I had to put this in. Ken Paxton is beating up on Cornyn. Cornyn is kind of falling into his own trap. I think this was all part of the plan because it's playing out too perfectly. And there's definitely, Paxton has been with Trump. They've hung out together. They've discussed things. Cornyn, well, as Paxton's just demonstrated, Cornyn's no friend of Trump.
The senator didn't say who he intends to support, but he did double down on who he believes the Republican Party should not nominate, and that is former President Donald Trump.
Cornyn saying, I think President Trump's time has passed him by. And he adds, I don't think President Trump understands that when you run in a general election, you've got to appeal to voters beyond your base.
President Trump fed that fantasy by repeatedly claiming the election was stolen. The president's actions were reckless.
Do you believe that the president committed impeachable offenses?
I'm going to listen to what's presented.
It is our responsibility to get to the bottom of what exactly happened due to Russian involvement in our election.
This question of whether there are any ties to the Trump campaign, that's a legitimate area of inquiry, and the committee's engaged in that. It's not a witch hunt.
It is a legitimate area of inquiry.
We simply do not take classified documents out of a secure facility. He's created a circumstance for himself, which is, I think, very, very serious. This one is basically something that he's admitted to with the material facts.
Ms. Monaco is a lifelong public servant. I believe she's well qualified to serve as Deputy Attorney General, and I plan to support her nomination.
I have a lot of admiration and respect for Director Mueller.
John Cornyn of Texas told CBS News he simply doesn't think Donald Trump can get elected president. Quite a statement from Senator Cornyn.
He won't be supporting former President Trump, and neither should other Republicans.
You believe the former president's time has passed?
I do.
While Cornyn fought Trump, Ken Paxton has always stood by the president.
He's done a terrific job for Texas and for our country.
Attorney General Ken Paxton, a really great Attorney General.
I'm Ken Paxton, and I approve this message.
Wow, huh? Right? Cornyn's going to get his ass kicked. I'm going to be helpful in that. I look forward to it. Moderate Governor Abigail Spanberger. Moderate? Is that what we're calling her? Governor Abigail Spanberger is expected to sign a sweeping gun ban into law, which is going to be illegal. Virginia, I think no ARs and then no high-capacity magazines. Oh, they're at least allowing up to 15 rounds. That's cool. California went to 10. 10. Yeah. We still can't get more than that yet. It's already been said it's unconstitutional. Anyway, it's maybe I'm wrong. I haven't tried in a while, but anyway, it's ridiculous. I need to replace out some stuff. Judge halts construction of ICE detention center in Maryland, said they didn't do an appropriate environmental study that supposedly the federal government's supposed to do. Boy, this is digging for shit to be pissed off about. Okay. Maybe they just be like, yeah, but we saw Punxsutawney Phil's shadow, so, that's okay. Trump can restart deportations to third countries for now. This is funny that they're letting it go in this direction in the time being. And this has to do with people that the country of origin won't take them back. They're like, we don't want him back. That guy's a pile of trash. And they're like, well, we don't want him. And they're like, ah. So third country is going to hold them in prison forever because they're worthless. They're trashy. They're horrible. Their own country doesn't even want them back. So that is pissing some people off. ICE agents have arrested a number of illegal aliens convicted of attempted murder, kidnapping, sexual assault. They're just on their information spree, if you will, trying to get everybody to understand, hey, look, no, these are the people we're actually arresting, which, I mean, I believe they are, but the press is obviously having a fun time saying other than that, right? Officials identify a man who allegedly barreled into Michigan synagogue in an explosive-filled car. This is where that story should have been. I've got it, probably, anyway, doubled. Watch. But officials identified the suspected driver. This is the Michigan one, okay? So the other one is in Virginia, I believe. This is Michigan. Ayman Mohammed Ghazali. He is a 41-year-old that was born in Lebanon, came to the United States in 2011 on an immigrant visa as a spouse of a U.S. citizen. So, yeah, he became a citizen and then targeted this. There is a story that's out, whether it's true or not, that this individual has allegedly lost his family to an Israeli attack in Lebanon that killed his family. So he's had a problem with it. Part of me wonders, if you're from Lebanon, why come to America to try to hurt Israel? I mean, I get everyone says we're their puppet or whatever, but I don't know. It seems a little weird, a little bit. And the source is questionable, so hard to say for sure. This is the terrorist attack at Old Dominion, and this is very, very, very sad. Here's the gentleman that died. He was shot, and he is Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw. He is the professor of military science and the leader of the university's ROTC program. He was a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Atlantic Resolve. His awards include 2 Bronze Stars, Senior Army Aviator Badge, Combat Action Badge, Parachutist Badge, Air Assault Badge, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Service Medal, Air Medal with Valor, Joint Service Commendation Medal, Army Commendation Medal, and the Joint Service Achievement Medal. Daggum. Yeah, so this is, we lost this guy because of this crazy individual. Now, before we get into the details of the crazy individual, I thought I had the crazy individual details. Maybe it's in here further. But yeah, he was killed by I thought I had this guy, I think, if I can find him now. Yeah, this dude. And right here somewhere, I think. This is the Virginia one. Yes, okay, this guy. Good. All right, Jola. This guy. So yeah, he is sports Islamic. That's just messed up. Anyway, he came in and killed this guy. Long story short, and then on top of that, when the soldiers took the dude down, this guy, when they took him down, the soldiers, they were unarmed. This guy was armed, shooting. Soldiers took him down without any weapons. And here is what happened.
How was he deceased? There were students who were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people?
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
The one that went to Virginia.
And yeah, they killed him. No, I mean kill him. I mean, they defended themselves appropriately. I'm assuming they choked him out to the point of death, or they did the little poppy on the neck Somebody was trained. Good for them, by the way. A judge just ruled, or upheld even, that Missouri Republicans, their new 2026 congressional map that hands Republicans one House vote seat this November, it's been approved. So we're going to find out what happens with some of the other states that are fighting the fight. Some good news, I guess, if you can call it that. Tina Peters, she's been found not guilty. After the attack. Remember how we told you there was an attack where it was inside where the cameras couldn't see it? And she defended herself. She was caught on camera assaulting the individual. Well, she's been found not guilty, fortunately. But still, she's still in jail. Still in jail. I guess they actually did have... Dude, Tina's learning how to fucking brawl, man. Damn. I don't think we need to watch Tina fight. That's like MMA, but worse. Poor Tina's like really old. It's really sad. Undersecretary of War throws down on Anthropic, and I want you to listen to this 3 minutes because it really explains the thing. And there's a lot of people that think that AI is they've got Skynet on their mind, and I get it, but ultimately, who controls the AI is who, and there's just, again, I don't know. I don't want to get into this because so many people are like, it's gonna become sentient. No, it won't. Doesn't have a soul. It's just different. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's capable of doing a lot of stuff. It's not even close to being able to write its own code. There's just a lot of nonsense that's going on with it, and people are freaking out. I think we are going to be in between a lot of that for a long period of time, and it is literally meant to be able to make stupid, redundant, over and over decisions, pattern recognition, stuff that people aren't generally that good at. It's really good at. So it's meant to help. And it is. And this is how Anthropic was literally trying to put themselves into a situation where they could literally cause combat equipment to not work in the middle of combat. And that can't happen.
Or from doing Department of War stuff, like targeting, doing weapons design, whether you're doing physics or material science or aerospace dynamics or whatever. And I had to, say, holy cow, we have to do something about this. So then I went to all these companies, model companies, and said, number one, we can't be dependent on one provider. And it's not everywhere in the DOW. It's just in a few sensitive areas. And number two, the terms have to let us do the things we do. Why, if you're a software provider, why sell to the Department of War if you can't do Department of War things, right? So right. I set out to just make that equivalent, like what we were buying and what they were selling was useful to us. And every other AI company, Grok, Google, even OpenAI, it took 1 or 2 weeks to come to terms. I spent 3 months with Anthropic trying to come to terms. And ultimately, it was clear that they just wanted to get in between the command structure and the warfighter. They wanted to make the shot. They wanted to call the shots.
So from my vantage point, what I'm trying to understand is that they would essentially have some sort of a veto power over our warfighting capabilities if we use their technology. And so they could basically be the de facto commander-in-chief of the military, which is, it's sort of, unless I'm misinterpreting it, that seems like the most egregious, over-the-top thing I've ever heard of, where a company could just dictate to the government how they would behave.
It's Orwellian. Right. So the way it would happen is that of the 25 pages of terms and conditions of things you couldn't do with their software, that gave them the right, if we tripped over one of those 25 pages, which had 50 different prohibitions, that they could turn off the software in the middle of a battle. So they could decide the battle's over. They could decide that you were using this tool to plan, a Maduro raid in Venezuela, and they didn't like that. And the software guardrails could have automatically clicked in without even human intervention, because the model kind of sense what you're trying to do. You're trying to cause a human harm. In this case, it was trying to bring an indicted felon into, an indicted person back into the United States to face trial. So there's lots of different ways to get at you, but the real point is whether it was a human or a software guardrail or something that the model that they say is almost sentient could sense. Because remember, Anthropic has its own constitution not corporate values, its own constitution.
Wow.
its own soul, and they have a person who's the soul of Claude. So own constitution, own soul, their own guardrails, their own terms and conditions, and if you trip over them, software could shut off at the critical moment. That made it a thing.
Wow, it's just real God complex stuff. So,
right, that is not acceptable. Now, did we not know this going in? Are these people getting power tripping once they sort of start to establish these larger contracts, thinking they themselves are worth the money when it's not? In fact, it's the IP they've got. And I also wonder, with some of the ingredients, how much of the IP that the government kind of can keep and regurgitate or reuse or give to somebody else that's working with them and help them. I mean, I wonder, because I don't think there's I think the government in a time of war especially is allowed to do all sorts of crazy things. We've got 10 Maersk ships that are trapped in the Persian Gulf. There's a lot of shipping that's kind of trapped right now. So this is causing huge problems. Some of this stuff might actually make it here. To my understanding, we get very little, if any. I've heard up to possibly 5% of our oil comes from the Persian Gulf. So we don't care. This isn't affecting us. We knew this would happen. We're literally 13, 14 days into the actual war. We knew this would happen. This isn't a surprise. This is going to be remedied. And I mean, they're being kind of tight-lipped on it. And I think some stuff's actually happening. And I think they're kind of waiting for some people to make moves. And we're also wondering how much Iran's just going to crumble already because of their lack of leadership and everything else. Like, nobody really knows what's going on. Everything's kind of being managed from a local level, which makes it easier to take over that management, right? If you're able to organize on smaller scales, you take over a police station or something to that effect, and now you all of a sudden own the police in that section. It's kind of funny how that works. U.S.-Israeli war on Iran wipes billions off of Gulf energy revenues. They're saying roughly, $15 billion in energy revenues. They break it up a little bit, but a lot of natural gas, liquid natural, all that stuff, oil, everything else, produced, non-produced, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of money just sitting there right now, and this is affecting, the deep state. Again, we're almost hijacking the Gulf of Hormuz right now, or the Strait of Hormuz right now. It's almost us kind of hijacking it to a degree, I think. It's Iran's fault. It's blamed all over them. So it's never going to look like it's us. But Trump we all knew this would happen the second that this war started. It was, they didn't plan it. They're not going to tell all these shipping companies, hey, we're about to bomb them. Shh, don't tell anyone. That's not happening. So, yeah, you get stuck where you get stuck. It sucks for you. It sucks being you, for that matter. This is kind of funny, though. Chinese-owned cargo ship. China-owned cargo ship. I'll let my lovely Tiffany Meyer tell you all about it.
Iran has sharply reduced shipping through the Strait of Hormuz as it pushes back against the United States and Israel. Traffic through the waterway has plunged since the war began 2 weeks ago. The strait normally carries about 20% of the world's seaborne oil. Since the conflict started, at least 19 commercial ships have been damaged in attacks in the region. Only a handful of non-Iranian vessels have managed to pass through. Some ships have even declared themselves Chinese-owned or Chinese-crewed, real or fake, in an attempt to avoid being targeted. But one of the latest targets was a Chinese-owned cargo ship named Source Blessings. It was hit in the early hours of Thursday close to the strait. In other words, saying a ship is China-owned doesn't guarantee it's fully secure. China is the largest buyer of Iranian crude oil, and analysts say that may be one reason some vessels are trying to signal ties to Beijing. Questions remain over whether Iran may be allowing Chinese-linked ships safer passage.
Whoops. Uh-oh. Did China mess up again? Here's Scott Bessent. He's talking about the Navy and this international coalition that's going to escort vessels at some point, maybe. We're talking about it. Again, it takes time. We've got to get it safe. It's interesting how this is playing out. We knew this would happen. Sagseth was talking about it in his meeting. It's kind of why I wanted to play all this stuff, because it connects interesting dots together. But it leaves obvious unconnected dots. And I think we're getting there. I think we're starting to piece it together.
It is my belief that as soon as it is militarily possible, the U.S. Navy, perhaps with an international coalition, will be escorting vessels through.
And that came up just now in the Situation Room.
Your words, not mine. But again,
are we days away from that?
We've been planning for this. We've done scenario analysis for months, for weeks, leading into this. So,
but it's a prospect in the coming days, then.
It is a prospect as soon as we have complete control of the skies and are degrading they have no Air Force. The Navy is sunk, literally and figuratively, and the munitions factories, the rebuilding capabilities for the missiles, completely degraded. So as soon as it is possible for to ensure safe passage, we will do it.
Exactly. I was actually trying to look up where Spain gets its oil from, but they're not making it easy to figure out. Anywho, yeah, I was curious because I wonder how much of it comes from the Middle East, especially Spain. And this comes down to the militaries, I think, to some degree. I think it's one of the factors. NATO militaries, who actually has to take care of everyone and who's barely willing to pay anything for it. And you expect us to go down there and risk our sailors' lives for oil that doesn't matter to us, for products not coming here, products going to Europe, and you won't even let us sell our products in Europe? See, there is a lot happening here where Trump's basically saying, no, you guys deal with it. It's your problem, right? We're taking care of this war thing with Iran. We'll be done with it in a second. Just shut up. We'll get around to protecting you when we've got time. U.S. tariff investigations put China, EU, and other major trading partners in new crosshairs. This has to do with these investigations. This article that's pro-China is... They say it could take months to years to do these investigations. I doubt that very much. Trump has already done a lot of this in advance. They certainly knew what they needed to do. Again, we're going to have the investigations legally enough anyways done to where they can move forward with the tariffs. So this is all happening. And the specific ones that were in the initial crosshairs are China, India, Mexico, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and the European Union. Interesting group of people. Now, two in there, Japan and South Korea, recently have been trying to make some sweeter deals with us, and we've been talking pretty nice with them. But China, India, Mexico, we're in shit places with really right now. Vietnam, for sure, not good. Europe, oh man, horrible. This is a big part of it. Trump's like, look, you guys don't want to be cool to us. We're not going to go way out of our way for you. They know it. U.S. trade deficit falls sharply, 57.6% from a year earlier. It's almost in half of what it was because we're exporting a lot more stuff now too. So we're importing less as well. It's powerful. It's a huge difference. It makes this country a lot of money too. It helps. And then that helps pay down our deficits and crap. I hope we can just get the Fed out and never pay it. That's what I'd like to see. Scott Bessent greenlights the sale of Russian oil at sea to promote stability in global energy markets. Basically, anything, to my understanding, anything that's essentially at sea right now, you can sell legally. We're not going to bother you. So they're going to get that stuff where it goes, get it to who, where it goes. And so everybody's going to get some oil from Russia right now. Or going to be making sweet deals with Russia to get some of that oil. Russia's going to get a bunch of money. This is Trump making a deal with him to kind of stay out of the Iranian thing. Everybody's trying to say, oh, they're providing targeting information. Trump just gave him a giant bone here. I don't think so. I think that's what and why this happened. Russia, we're going to give you a bunch of money. And Russia's like, I like that. That'll work. We'll stay out of this. Thanks. In China, we're trying to actually kind of corner China right now, frankly. And so that's why we're going after Venezuela, Iran. That's why. We're destroying China's, well, their terror network as well. I feel like this was the terror leg to a few different crazy places. Price of oil was down earlier today. Now it's back up a little bit. It's been hovering close to $100. Supposedly it broke it earlier. Dow's down. Not much really. Yeah, it's catching up. It's pretty flat. That's what it looks like right now. Gold and silver down a little bit. Always. That's cool. Sitting at 81 for silver. Again, it's a good time to get out of stuff. Crypto's kind of, it was above 72 earlier, Bitcoin. It's been interesting to see where the money's moving, and some of it's going to stocks, but oddly, a lot of it's not, and people don't have a lot of places to put money. Again, gold and silver is not necessarily where you put it to make money. It's where you put it to protect buying power. You put it there to save yourself so you can actually buy something later on in your life. Whoops. All that said, DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Protect your wealth. The value of gold, as it inflates, it becomes more expensive. It's not capable of buying more than it was able to. It's not able to buy less than it was able to. It buys the same. As I've said before, 1915, handmade tailored suit. Today, handmade tailored suit, same thing. It's not worth more. Many people have it baked into their heads that things become more valuable, like homes. They don't appreciate. Nothing appreciates. That's called inflation. Your house is actually worth less, but it costs more because of inflation. Buying power, protected. The amount of this you can get right now protects and locks in that buying power. And then a year or two from now, when we finally get this fixed, well, it'll be okay. Silver's a different thing altogether, though. Silver's funny. Silver's got like this weird multiplier baked into it. It's used for industry and everything else. They've been really trying to force it down with paper contracts. This is likely going to affect the banks in a very adverse way, but how that all plays out, we'll see as well. One more reason why being in a 401k or an IRA might not be the safest place to have your money. One bad day at the office as far as the stock market's concerned, and your portfolio could get slammed. If you pull out as much of that as you can, especially right now while gold and silver are artificially low, here's like I almost feel like I wonder if the good guys are like, we're going to lower the price as long as we can and hold it down so some of you guys can get over the fence before we got to fling it back up, right? So protect yourself while you can. That's an important timing thing. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. You move it sideways, tax-free, penalty-free. You're going to get up to 10% free silver added onto the sweet deal. So $100,000 is going to work into $10,000 in free silver. It's a pretty sweet deal. Move it sideways, protect that buying power. And if you're able to even call quickly and you qualify and all that good stuff, there's a Ronald Reagan coin in it, half ounce, 9.999% silver. Ronald Reagan on the front. It's a U.S. Minted coin, so it's, it's super cool. You should try to get that if you can. Seriously, all you got to do 4 data points. And you hit the button, a little thing's going to pop up, say call this number in 20 minutes, and starts counting down. And just make the call. See what happens. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can, or else it's going to suck. That's the bad part. That's the horrible part. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is announcing the United States has ended all aid to Somalia.
Of our foreign policy, and it should be used for the purpose of furthering the national interest. That doesn't mean we don't care about human rights. That doesn't mean we don't care about starvation. That doesn't mean we don't care about hunger. That doesn't mean we don't care about humanitarian need. What it does mean, however, is that even foreign aid, which is not charity, it is an act of the U.S. taxpayer. Now, American charities are free to give their money to whoever they want, as long as it's not a sanctioned entity. But the United States and the taxpayer money should be spent in furtherance of our foreign policy, should be spent in places and on things that further our foreign policy, and even that is not unlimited. We have a limited amount of money that we can dedicate to foreign aid and humanitarian assistance, and that has to be applied in a way that furthers our national interests, and that's what we have sought to do as well. And in that endeavor as well, we have empowered the regional bureaus and our embassies to play a dramatic role. In fact, they are not just the implementers of this. They, in many cases, are the ones that are suggesting and are leading the response. And so bringing the tools of foreign aid underneath the umbrella of our broader foreign policy has been an important and dramatic reform. Even in the midst of all that, we remain engaged around the world, including in conflicts that perhaps are not central to everyday life in America, but the president has made it.
Well, that's a bummer of a audio because it doesn't really cover that. But supposedly he's talking about the United States ending all aid to Somalia. I wonder if they just like started recording like, shit, because it's not really in there. But, well, anyways, happens. Sometimes I just trust, It's most of the time it's good enough. The Army is offering up to $5,000 for information after 4 drones were stolen from Fort Campbell. This is strange. Strange to me, I guess. One, these are the individuals. I don't know if I can zoom in better. I guess it's about as good as it's going to get. If these people look familiar to you, obviously different parts of the warehouse, but same warehouse it looks like. The same wood crates, same lighting. Walls look the same, but this one's got open roof. This one doesn't. So it's they're obviously in different rooms. What I also said is weird to me is it's $5,000. It just seems like such a small amount of money. If they got anything interesting, maybe they don't want to make it look like they got anything interesting. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people $5,000's a lot. So I don't know. And I'm not saying it's not a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's just the people that are involved behind. Anyway, there's maybe someone recognizes them. Very strange. That just seems weird to me. Cuba confirms talks with Trump, as officials are saying there's some deal that's almost in the works. We'll see. See if I can get this to start.
Be a friendly takeover. It may not be a friendly takeover. It wouldn't matter because they're really they're down to, as they say, fumes. They have no energy. They have no money. They're in deep trouble on a humanitarian basis. And we don't want to see that, but they were very, very bad to a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of people living the Cuban-American vote, which I got at record levels. Very important. Those people are very important to me. I know what they went through. They went through hell. Some of them have gone on to be some of the most successful people in the country. Cuban-American business people, some of them are like the most successful in the country. And a lot of them are friends of mine because I've been fighting this battle with them for a long time. The Castro regime was brutal, but they lived off Venezuela. Now they don't live off Venezuela. Sends them no energy, no fuel, no oil, no money, no nothing. They lived without Venezuela. They couldn't have made it. And we cut them off from everything else. So, they're going to make either a deal or we'll do it just as easy anyway.
Yeah, it's like what go in there? It wouldn't even be hard, I don't think. So, again, Trump's talking some tough talk. We'll see what happens. It's always usually meant to get them kind of leaning in a direction, freak them out. Chile. They've elected a new right-wing president, Jose Cast. Immediately, they entrusted his term to Christ and visited the Santiago Cathedral after his inauguration. Cast defeated a communist in the election. Christianity and conservatism surge in Latin America. This is very much what I call the Don Roe, right? Well, I didn't make the term up, but I find that anything that's happening within our polar influence of the world is of reasonable importance. That's how I see it. Donald Trump truthed this out. I think this is my Iran stuff. We are totally destroying the terrorist regime of Iran militarily, economically, and otherwise. Yet, if you read the failing New York Times, you would incorrectly think that we are not winning. Iran's navy is gone. Their air force is no longer. Missiles, drones, and everything else are being decimated, and their leaders have been wiped from the face of the earth. We have unparalleled firepower, unlimited ammunition, and plenty of time. Watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today. They've been killing innocent people all over the world for 47 years, and now I, as the 47th President of the United States of America, interesting camel case, I am killing them. What a great honor it is to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Again, celebrating killing is something I'm not cool with, but it is what it is. And I think that plays to most of the people on this planet. They seem to be really fond of killing people. So there you go. As long as you got a good reason for it, you can't just indiscriminately do it. That's what heathens do. Trump says the U.S. is totally destroying Iran's regime. I think this was a pretty good little snippet. Let's play this, please.
Top news. We are starting with the latest developments in the war with Iran. President Trump saying today the U.S. is, quote, totally destroying the terrorist regime of Iran militarily, economically, and otherwise.
Yeah, NTD's Daniel Monahan has more on that, plus new details about a U.S. aircraft crash during Operation Epic Fury.
President Trump writing on Truth Social that Iran's Navy and Air Force are gone, adding the regime's missiles, drones, and leadership are being eliminated. The president also hinted at additional military action, writing, quote, "Watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today." White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller says the United States is crippling Iran's military capabilities. He says never in history has there been a more one-sided annihilation of an enemy than what is unfolding right now in Iran, speaking on Fox News.
We are in the process right now of degrading their entire military industrial base so that they cannot resume creating and building these weapons.
Miller discusses oil prices hitting $100 and Iran attacking vessels and vowing to shut down the Strait of Hormuz.
So just again, as a thought experiment, imagine if this regime that right now, weaker than ever before, imagine if that regime instead had nuclear weapons, instead had long-range missiles that could reach an American city, instead was rich with cash. Remember, Obama put them on a path to enrich them with tens of billions of dollars and have a nuclear weapon.
Miller saying such a regime would be a terror to global commerce and to the world.
So what instead you have is a dying regime, a decaying regime, a thrashing regime that is engaged in terrorism in the Strait of Hormuz. But let's be very clear. The United States, not Iran, has the staying power. Why? Iran produces 2% of the world's oil. America, under President Trump, is the #1 producer of oil and fossil fuel.
CENTCOM says a U.S. aerial refueling aircraft went down in western Iraq. The crash happened in friendly airspace and involved 2 aircraft. CENTCOM says the loss of the aerial refueling aircraft was not the result of hostile fire or accidental friendly fire. The second aircraft managed to land safely. President Trump says he thinks new Iranian leader Mojtaba Khamenei is alive but damaged. Khamenei has not been seen by Iranians since his selection on Sunday by a clerical assembly. His first alleged comments were read out by a television presenter yesterday.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright says the United States is looking to use its military to escort oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, adding that the Navy will likely be able to do so by the end of March. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Daniel, you're awesome. You're just like so much excitement and like, you know, the animation that you bring forward. Oh, God, you are stellar. You're like Jim Carrey, you know? That's trippy. That's sarcasm, guys. Sorry. White House disputes ABC's reporting claiming that Iran wants to launch drones at the West Coast. I was saying it was bullshit yesterday, too, by the way. There's numerous reasons why it's a stupid idea, it's a stupid story. It is highly unlikely. There's cells, there's a lot, those things, oh yeah, there's a way strong chance of that happening. We have a bunch of Persian people in this state. One of the highest populations, in fact, in the world. Is in Los Angeles. So, giant amount of Iranian people. That said, they're not going to be launching any giant-ass drones. I mean, if they got one in here, that would be crazy. I mean, they could have shipped one here. The thing they were saying is they're going to have, like, Iran's going to have a ship off our coast. There's no way in hell that's happening. First off, we got San Diego down below. We got a whole friggin' Navy down there, man. We have a lot of our chunk of our Pacific fleet is sitting over there. I think we got a bunch of it up in Seattle area too. Some of it maybe. Well, we got some ships up there. I used to remember Seafair. It was always cool when that happened in the summertime. Aircraft carriers, man, we'd go walk down along the waterfront, just stand down below them. Oh, it was cool as hell. Iran is planting mines, they're saying. There's supposedly a few of them planted. Maybe 12 or so lately. Again, people are making a big deal about this. It is sucky, and they shouldn't happen. If that's all they got, and they literally poke through the water, okay, that's cool. That shouldn't be too hard to find those. I mean, and then we should be able to, there's probably a reasonably inexpensive way to eliminate those. Right? Like, I mean, so that's not a big deal. People are trying to make a big deal about it. They're trying to make it. They're mining it. They're like 12 mines. No, they're not. There's like a couple boats that actually got out for 5 minutes and were able to drop a couple mines before they got nuked. Drone attack supposedly injured a U.S. troop when it attacked a British base because the Brits failed to protect the people at the base. I'm just being a dick. Don't mind me. But that said, yeah, a couple of injuries, but not serious or anything. So, yeah, there you go. It's just stupid. Apparently, Saudi's Aramco is going to be buying a bunch of Ukrainian interceptor drones to defend oil fields. I don't know, somehow, apparently, Ukraine really has become an expert in counter-drone technology. They've got these cool little drone killers. I've seen the Russians use them, too, so I'm not sure who invented it, but maybe the Russians stole the idea from the Ukrainians. Whatever the case is, it's a little mini drone, and all you really need to do is just hit the drone with the mass, so it doesn't even need to have explosives on it per se. It just needs to hit it dead on, and you're going to jack it up. There's no way around it. Those things aren't like reinforced, so it'll take down a drone. Kind of cool. So, we'll see. That said, nothing new, I don't think, with Operation Epic Fury. I guess France lost a soldier. Really? My heart goes out to you guys losing a soldier. It's very sad. I didn't even realize you were that involved. Veterans, let's see, UN must be involved. No, they shouldn't. That's a bad idea. U.S. is dealing with the Strait of Hormuz. That's true. All 6 crew, yeah, are dead. We talked about that. Dubai's in the crosshairs. All the oil companies are. This is all about hurting the world. So this is kind of a slash and burn by the deep state. Just understand that too. And they will do it in cities. They will do it with the economy. They will do it with everything. Okay? This is an example of what they're going to do to the economy when they realize they're totally cut off. They're going to pull the final strings. They're going to hit the button. They're going to do something. They're going to use their nuclear option. Their what's the Abraham option? What's the option that Israelis? You guys know what I'm talking about. Doesn't sound right. I feel like it starts with a J, but Samson option. That's what it is. That's not a J, but it's closer. Closer than what I said. Volkswagen plans 50,000 job cuts due to plunging profits. Board members grab $1.75 million each in bonuses, though. You know, they're going to fire 50,000 people, but the board got themselves a sweet little bonus, $1.7 million each. Not bad. Not bad for sucking. Dude, I wish I got rewarded for sucking that hard. Some might argue I do, but I don't think so. This is just stupid. And I was going to put it near the story where we learned that the FBI story was bullshit about the attack that's going to happen on the West Coast. But now the Hollywood celebrities get increased Oscar security after FBI warns of possible Iranian drone surprise attack. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, guys. If they somehow managed to kill all the actors that were inside the Oscars at one time, that'd be a good start. That'd be a good start. How many of you MAGA people out there wouldn't mind getting into acting? Huh? A couple of you? All right. I'm just saying. That'd be a pretty good start. I don't think you'd get any sympathy. I feel bad for their families, of course, of course. Oh, it's so sad you lost your. Oh well. At least the abuse will stop, right? All said. Crazy stuff going on. I got a great music show today. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Basically, my favorite bands doing either an extended version of a song or they're doing a live killer version of the song. A lot of it was somewhat dependent on a couple of factors, and most of it was the quality of music. There was some really, really cool live stuff that was like 480. Like, it was just like, it sounds horrible. Ugh. So anyway, normally I don't break the 1080p rule, but today I did. I think that one of them came in at the 780 or whatever that is, 720, I think it is, whatever that one is. That one's usually got decent sound, but again, I'm a snob. I'm a snob, folks. Also, I got some cool live. We're going to do another concert coming up. I've got 3 different bitchin' concerts. A couple of them are damn near 2 hours long, so you don't have to join the whole thing, but I do recommend you guys check them out after the effect. I did a Peter Gabriel concert that was amazing. Amazing. You should go look for it. Just do Musical Spotlight. Search that. You'll find them all, and there's a Peter Gabriel one that was It was one of the best concerts I've seen on DVD. So it sparked this whole, we got to do that once in a while. So I've got a couple that are damn near 2 hours long. We'll start a little early. We'll end a little late. It is what it is. But we'll have some fun in the process. I've got a Michael Jackson. I've got Talking Heads. I've got two others. Queen. A concert of Queen. Amazing concert. And then one other one, too. And there is a Bonamassa concert at the Royal Albert Hall that I might very well share, too, because it's just made me fall in love with Joe Bonamassa. So, again, I don't know. A lot of different themes that we're going to bake into this year of music. And, again, today is just, again, some of my favorite bands doing just really cool versions of songs. I hope you guys have a chance to check it out. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, today, Friday, and Friday the 13th of all places. Yes. Be prepared and safe. Always. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.